Art is shit. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the way that art is as necessary for every human as shitting. Literally, especially at this point in our history. Absolutely. Um, but art is shit. It's a lot like shit. It's like and I'll explain, this in this video, basically. Of course, as usual, provocative title and all that, because you need the clicks and stuff. So of course you go for the core, right? I mean, it's almost too basic, but really, like, the ways in which art is like shit are many. It's what is art, right? I mean, it's something we create, it's something we produce. Now, it's not stinky necessarily. You could have stinky art, but that's I mean that would be your choice, I guess. And then I guess that's kind of what's really cool about it is that we choose what our art is, right? But we have to produce it, and it's actually art, especially creative and particularly abstract art like music, which music is an abstract art. Um, it it is a way that we process our emotions in the same way that we process our food, and what comes out of us is not kind of unlike the shit. It's like kind of goes through our process, our experiences, and then we kind of output this material. And, like, I mean, people put that into different things in their life, but abstraction has been a really great way to, I mean, abstraction has always been around. I mean, all art is abstracted technically. That's a different discussion, but you know music and like paint, like a color, like liking a color and wanting your room to be a color. It's an expression of how we're feeling. I mean, that's basic, right? But it's kind of like expressing it comes out of us. And the problem is that since the Renaissance and since patronage became very popular, more and more, and also since recordings became popular and certain artists were the primary artists, in any kind of community, known by everyone. Like, it became this kind of thing that if you weren't good enough, right, to make shit that people like, you weren't allowed to shit, right? Or you're not allowed to, right? But you're not going to get much support for it. And I mean, there are outlets for people to do group activities and stuff where you're allowed to be shitty, but there is pressure to not to suck. And the thing is that it's actually okay to suck. It's okay to, and it's actually good to make crappy art. It's really good to do that. It's like really good to do that, and it's also good to be okay with the fact that your art is crappy. I'm really okay with the fact that my music is kind of crappy. It's not, people don't really like it that much, but like most people, honestly, they don't. Most people really don't. I mean, whether and that's fine. Like, it's totally fine. It's not for everyone, and it's my shit. I like it. I mean, I like doing it, and it's important for me to do it. Now, you know, it's just that one of those things. Now, I mean, of course, in the modern contemporary world, we have like money and all this stuff, and we have to do certain things, or like it seems that way that we have to do certain things. But I'm not really like suggesting that you have to become like a dedicated practitioner of anything. But it's really really healthy to try to express yourself, and people have different levels of being able to express themselves, right? Like, some people can really let it rip, and actually that can be a problem too, because it's kind of like diarrhea. Like, I've got the diarrhea problem. I just shit it out. It comes out really fast. It's like, never mind. This is getting too gross. I don't want to talk about like actual poo too much. Uh, but like, I mean, the process of me making art is just like, I just start doing it, and really I kind of arrange it after. I'm one of those people who takes a poo and then makes it smell nice with stuff after, kind of, and some people, they take a really hard poo. This is getting really gross, but anyway, the people, they take a really hard poo, takes a long time to come out, really hard time to come out, comes out really hard, and it you know, and it doesn't smell that much. I mean, this is gross. I know this is gross to talk about, but that's actually kind of like what traditional forms of music are like, where you really labor over it and you labor to make it perfect, and you make it very perfect, and it's hard and it's not stinky, and people don't mind it. They don't, I mean, it doesn't matter that much. The point is that it doesn't really matter if people like it or not, you know, and you don't have to labor over it, because as we know, those hard poops are unhealthy. They're unhealthy poops. And the thing is that we need to, I mean, it's not good to be like me and just have diarrhea art. That's bad. That's unhealthy. It's so bad that I have to make it my career, actually, because it's basically all that I can do is like talk about ideas and music and communication, audio communication. That's kind of my area. And that's what I'm good at too. So I'm trying to make that my career. It's kind of cool that I can make like my literal excrement, which is what it feels like to me because of the way that it comes out of me, you know. But it's cool to think about it this way. Like, you want to have like a healthy poop. And if you're an artist, think about, you know, like how much time you spend on a piece of art. Now, obviously, you spend more on a piece of art than you do on a poop. But like poops, the best ones come out kind of in a nice like way that is like, you know, makes sense. It doesn't hurt. It's not painful. You know, you're not hurting, and it comes out at a good rhythm. You know, like it's not staggered. Like, you don't want to, you know, and basically like it kind of applies. Like, you kind of, when you're doing art, you of course you can spruce it up later. You know, you can go back to your poops and make them smell nice, because they last forever with digital. You know, digital probably doesn't last forever, but it lasts for a long time, as long as we're alive, you know. So I mean, you know, people are gonna look at your poops, maybe. I mean, maybe you'll show them to people. Really, I spent a lot of years just making really, really rank noise and by myself, and it was great. You know, if like I was living with my mom, she would go to work during the day, and I would just like play with homemade oscillators all day long and feedback matrices, and basically like make an intolerable low treble, like 5K, 8K, squealing, squawking, sequenced, grunting kind of stuff, but at a high volume, you know. And it was cool to have to play with that and explore sound in such a direct way and understand signal in such a way. But like, I mean, it's like, it is more satisfying to make something that actually sounds good, or, you know, a painting that looks good, rather than just like putting peanut butter on something and it's stinky and stuff. You know, I mean, I love, you know, the concepts of abrasion and industry and so on, but you know, like it's actually like it's okay. You know, you can poop, and you can try to poop in a good way too. And the way you do it is by having a good diet. And the way that you make good art is by having good experiences. And that's why the people, you know, who make the art we kind of like a lot of the time. You know, it's and that's why, I mean, it goes deeper than that too. But let's leave it for that. Let's leave it at that.